Wouldn't you always want to know which of your friends, colleagues, family members are prone to manipulate you? For example, if I tell you, you look fresh today, is that manipulation or not? Am I manipulating you? What would you say? Here is another one. You are really good with laptops. Could you fix an error on my laptop like you did last time? I'm not great with IT, as you know. Am I manipulating you? Okay, here goes the last one. I already sort this out for you. Now, because you are a good team player, can you finalize the annual report for us? It is very urgent and it shouldn't take that long. So, what do you think? Did I come across as manipulative or not? Now, here's the part no one tells you. The answer is that all of these can be manipulations, and similar tactics have probably been used on you before. If I speak for myself, I've been manipulated too. And the worst part, it's incredibly damaging, especially when I couldn't see it for what it is. If there are 100 people watching this right now, and you have had relationships at work, in family, or in dating, chances are 50 to 70 of you have been in a relationship where manipulation is in the mix. That's roughly 50 to 70%. That's a very high number. Let's review the first example. You look fresh today. If someone says, you look fresh today, how does it make you feel? Probably good. It's a compliment. So of course it feels nice. But is it genuine or is it strategic? In manipulation, the person isn't just being nice. They're trying to get something from us by quietly bypassing our free, informed choice, so we don't make the decision on our own. So when I say you look fresh today, do I mean it? Or am I planting a good feeling now, so then when I ask you a favor later, it's harder for you to say no? And that's the difference. If the compliment is real and nothing is expected, it's just a compliment. But if it's used as a setup for a request, it is manipulation. And this is the real problem with the manipulation. It's extremely hard to spot because we often don't realize where it's heading until it's already there. And the most effective manipulations are subtle. They are tiny emotional cues woven into words, sentences, and actions. Let's review the second example. You are really good with laptops. Could you fix an error on my laptop like you did last time? I'm not great with IT, as you know. At first glance, it sounds totally normal and friendly. It starts with a compliment, so my ego gets a little boost and I feel useful. They mention like I did last time, so it reminds me that I helped before. And the whole thing is framed just as a small favor. Of course, I'm gonna feel appreciated, recognized, and kind of naturally want to help. But then I notice what's happening underneath. So the reality is that my help starts to be expected instead of appreciated. My time and energy are just assumed instead of respected. And they keep coming back to me instead of learning how to fix it themselves. And somehow manage me to feel guilty if I don't help. And there are so many recognized manipulation techniques. Some of them you have probably heard before, like gaslighting, love bombing, silent treatment, guilt tripping, and playing the victim. And there are so many of them that it's not even possible to remember them all. And this is the most interesting part. Most people are wired to manipulate since childhood. Children start manipulating their parents before they can even speak. For example, they cry selectively, especially when they try to draw attention or get something. They also test boundaries to see which behavior gets results. Those all are early signs of the manipulations. The bad news is that we all manipulate subconsciously from time to time. But the very bad news is that there are people who do it consciously. And those are the really dangerous ones. The person knows exactly what they're doing. They observe you, they study you, they learn your triggers, they know how you will react before you even react. Let's review the third example. I already sort this out for you. Now, because you are a good team player, can you finalize the annual report for us? It is very urgent and it shouldn't take that long. So the first part makes me feel good because they have done something for me. Then they add, you are a good team player, which is basically another compliment, and it makes it harder for me to push back. And then the last line is the real hook. They drop the actual request, can you finalize the annual report? And they make it urgent. So all those good feelings and that team player label suddenly turn into pressure to say yes right now. And if I try to resist, and I do it in a hesitant or in an uncertain way, they will often use my own word against me. They might even say that they are worried about me, which is another form of manipulation. They are basically saying they don't trust my judgment. And then argument goes back and forth, until I'm stuck in this loop of confusion, emotional exhaustion, and self-doubt, while they walk away with exactly what they wanted. And most manipulators don't change because manipulation works for them. And when manipulators are confronted, they deny it. I've been there, I've seen that. And the scary part is that manipulators don't stop. They just switch targets until they find someone who will tolerate them. They are like parasites looking for a host who hasn't noticed what's feeding of them. So what's the solution to all of those tricky manipulations? The answer is simple: no. And no sounds easy, but in real life it is much harder than it sounds, because no means boundaries, and manipulators, they can't stand boundaries. That's why learning to say no starts with understanding how manipulations really work. At its core, manipulation starts with one thing. The manipulator wants something. They need something from you. And that's the key point. If there is no desire or need, there is no manipulation. So when someone wants something, they apply pressure to push past our free, informed choice. And the more skilled the manipulator is, the more they will increase the pressure until we stop choosing and start submitting. Eventually, if we keep contemplating, the pressure gets so uncomfortable that we say yes, not because we truly want to, but because we don't want to deal with the consequence of refusing. That's why recognizing the pressure in the moment is so important. And that pressure can come in many forms: flattery, urgency, guilt, fear, shame, time limits, anything that makes us feel like we can't calmly choose. And the only real way to test how many manipulators you have around you, among your friends, among your family members, among your work colleagues, is to start saying no, carefully and calmly. Say no once, say no a second time, then just watch what happens. You might be surprised by what you see. Because when you start saying no gently, without anger, people will reveal a lot. The ones who respect you will accept it, but the ones who are using you will usually push back or guilt trip you or suddenly act cold. And that realization can be eye-opening. So start small, say no calmly, and observe the reaction. Sometimes the manipulation ends, but sometimes the relationship ends. So if we go through the 3 examples again and look at how they could be addressed. You look fresh today. I'm tired and I'm exhausted. So do I really look fresh? Or is that compliment just there so you can ask me a favor later? Because if that's the case, thanks, but no, I don't look fresh. You are really good with laptops. Could you fix an error on my laptop like you did last time? I'm not great with IT, as you know. Look, I'm not an IT specialist, and quite honestly, you have got Google, AI tools, and tons of YouTube tutorials. You are more than capable of learning how to fix most laptop issues yourself. And in that way, you're not relying on anyone else, and you're empowering yourself. So unfortunately, no, I'm not going to be able to help you to fix this error. I already sort this out for you. Now, because you are a good team player, can you finalize the annual report for us? It is very urgent and it shouldn't take that long. Why did you do that task for me when I didn't ask you to in the first place? Please, let me manage my own work and deal with my task myself. If I need advice or help, I will ask you. But when you do something I didn't request and then use it to hand me another task, that feels like you're trying to push extra work on me. Work that wasn't mine to begin with. If you want to be a real team player, please ask me before you take over my tasks, so we don't end up in this situation again. So no, I'm not going to finalize the annual report for the team. So all of these examples are just examples, because at the end of the day, it's really hard to say no when you depend on manipulator. When someone has control over your safety, love, or resources, saying no can feel dangerous. That's why the goal is to become as independent and strong as we can, so we have enough autonomy. When the moment comes to say no, we can say no.